What's up, music producer, Bass Clef here, and today I'm going to help you out with some kick and bass secrets. Well, this is going to be a two-part video, so in the first part, let's just focus on the bass. Now, I work with a lot of students in our online school, and maybe a good way to explain this is that I'm going to show you 3 of the most common mistakes they make with their bass lines when they first come to us, and what we show them to do instead. Alright, let's jump into the door. Mistake number 1 is having too much sub in your bass line. Check this out. Now, some of you might not be able to hear that depending on your setup, but there is too much sub going on in that bass line, especially for a house style track. So if you're doing anything that is house, techno, trance, anything with a 4 to the floor, kick drum like that, there is a certain rule that works really well for us, and that is to give more of the sub to the kick drum, less of the sub to the bass line. In general, you could say only one can rule the low end, okay? So if you did a different genre like breakbeat, drum and bass, trap, anything with a broken beat, hip hop as well, it's usually the other way around. You usually have more sub in the bass line, less sub in the kick. You've just got to pick one. So hear this, and let's make an adjustment with the EQ and hear the difference. So there you go, just even taking out that little bit down there in the low end is helping the kick breathe, it's helping the low end of the kick come through, and it's helping the two of them coexist much better. Second most common bass line mistake is having a bass line that's too deep. Similar to what we talked about before, but this is not having enough overtones. Like, check this one out. Some of you might not even be able to hear that at all because it's so deep. I'll play it in solo. It's so low down, there's hardly any overtones. You might be able to see on my analyzer here. It's just that one single note. So because it doesn't have these harmonics coming up above it, it doesn't cut through in the mix and it doesn't glue into any melodic parts we might put in later. So the answer here, the easiest way, is to change your oscillator and have something with a bit more complexity in there, like even like a square wave like this. Now look at all those harmonics. We can just filter that down and decide exactly how many harmonics we want. Still the same amount of low end. And if we want, you could even then take an envelope and apply a little bit of that to the filter so it gives a little bit of bite at the start to help it cut through. All of this stuff is going to help your bass cut through more in your mix. It's going to sound better on smaller speakers as well as big speakers and just fill out the frequencies more even and glue into the rest of your song. Third most common mistake is having phase problems or stereo problems with your bass line. Check this one out. So it sounds like kind of wide, and that's kind of cool, right? Especially if you're listening in headphones, but that's useless for us in the club, really. And especially when we put this into mono. Listen to what happens to it in mono. I'll do it in solo. You hear it drops in volume, right? So that's no good for us because so often people are actually going to hear our songs in mono or in partial mono, whether it's in the club or in the corner of the club or on a Bluetooth speaker. Our mono mix is incredibly important, so we don't want any phase issues with our bass lines. We don't want them cancelling out or dropping in volume at all when they're in mono. So the answer here, if you have this going on, usually this is being caused by using unison on, if it's something like Serum. If you just pull this back from having 2 voices in unison to a single one, check this out. Much more solid. Let's do that in mono as well too, so you probably hear the jump even more. So this is the 2. Really disappears in mono having those 2 voices. You really don't need it. A lot of the most famous bass synths ever made were single oscillator. So there are 3 of the most common mistakes we see new students make with their bass lines and tips on what you should be doing instead. Now I know it can be difficult to identify these issues and hear them sometimes, especially if you don't have a subwoofer or a sub pack. So for this very reason, I did a special deep dive lesson on exactly how you can hear and identify and find these issues in your sessions, even without a subwoofer or sub pack. You can watch the full video for that right now in our Inner Circle group. Just click the link on screen or down below. And when you enroll, you also get access to 700 plus other videos. We even add new videos every week as well too. And you as a member can choose what videos we make next and vote on them as well. You'll also get access to our weekly feedback sessions with me and the other mentors, where we give you constructive feedback on exactly how you can finish and improve your song. Need to get it finished in a hurry? Need to get it ready for label quality release level? We've got you. We'll tell you exactly what needs to be done and how to do it. So go click that link and I'll see you in the inner circle.